Today we are going to take a look at the top 5 habits of one of my favorite bands of all time.
Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden? Excellent!
As with all of these top 5 habits videos I do, the aim here is going to be not just to learn riffs and specific licks that Iron Maiden plays, but to look at what they do frequently and apply that logic into your own playing so you can help further develop your own style. So if you're looking to learn a bunch of Maiden riffs, this won't be your video, but if you are looking to improve your own guitar style and see what you can learn from them, then stick around. Also, maybe if it goes really well, you'll get to have your own jet too. So this video is a little different than the other ones I've done on top 5 habits, because usually I'm talking about a single player style. And of course, in this instance, we have 2 great lead players splitting duties. But we can still look at what they do as a team and see what you can take away from that and use in your own music. And certainly they have plenty of cool, flashy techniques and everything, but I think you're going to see that with what we analyze here and with Maiden stuff, the greatest takeaways will be to use how to take certain guitar techniques and use them as compositional tools to make better songs. Let's get right to it now. I'm going to play a short piece of music here that shows my 5 takeaways and my 5 top habits for Iron Maiden and puts them into a little mini song here. We'll play that and then we'll come back and talk about each one. The first and greatest thing that I take away from Iron Maiden, and is certainly their greatest habit, has to do with writing themes and not just leads. Certainly it's easier to just throw some chords down and shred some leads over a part, but when Iron Maiden plays, even in their solo parts, they refer back to themes that they put in the songs. So you see in the little mini song here, I had this little kind of theme thing happening, and you can use that kind of thing either as part of a song, maybe where you would normally have like an intro riff or something, or a part like coming right out of a chorus, leading back to the next verse, or you can use it within a lead itself. You can have a solo part that starts with a theme, wanders away, comes back to the theme. It really gives people something that sticks to the ribs, if you will, to come back to in their ear and makes the song much more interesting than just a bunch of random leads. Now, of course, the second thing that went on there, because they have 2 great guitarists, is often anytime they play a theme, they would harmonize the theme. And you can do this yourself, multi-tracking or the harmonizer pedal. And if you don't really know how to do harmonies, I have a whole lesson on harmonies. I'll link that up here. It's too much to cover in this. But you saw in the theme and the video I did there, I took the theme and I just played it a third up. They like to use thirds a lot, so did I. So I also went up to a 5th at the end of it there with the build-up part. So you can move around, but generally 3rds and 5ths will be the place where you find most of your harmonies to fit best in a rock context. Anything outside of that can also sound very cool, but it gets a little bit exotic sounding.
When I'm in my hanging out with Ravi Shankar phase.
The main thing is, don't be afraid to harmonize, especially when we're talking about a theme or a melody part, the part that you really want to stick in someone's mind. Just like a vocalist would harmonize the chorus of a song, think about harmonizing what you're doing on the more melodic parts of what you're playing. Now we'll talk about some more of the specific lead guitar, single note guitar techniques here. And one of the things is, it kind of ties back to the theme as well, that Iron Maiden makes great use of open string pull-offs. And so my example in the mini song here kind of harkens to Flash of the Blade, and I just did this thing in G minor. And used it as a part to build into the next series or the theme of the song. And this is something you see all over Maiden's playing. Again, Flash the Blade, or maybe, you know, the famous intro. You'll see open string pull-offs all over the place in their playing, both in leads and as part of a theme. And you can extrapolate that out further. I like to do stuff where I pull off to an open string and then go to another string, almost on a cross-picking type of thing. Something like which is an intro to a song I have coming up soon.
I'm losing my mind, but won't let it show. I'm living a
The main thing is that you can think about where open strings, when they fit in the key, could work into lead parts or themes that you're doing yourself. Now, the fourth thing I get from them, and I'm not sure if both players in the band are doing this, but one or both of them is very keen to use moving pull-offs like trills, moving trills. And this is something that I covered before. It's something Randy Rhoads did, and I have a top 5 habits of Randy Rhoads. I'll link up here. But quickly, you see in the video there, I did this thing with the basic G pentatonic where and it works great in a lead context, just to give a lilting, very high-speed sounding type of thing that's not too difficult to play, at least individually. Switching from one trill to the next can be a little challenging. It's also a great way to connect pieces. So if I'm in E minor, say, and I have this here, and I want to get up to the position of E minor pentatonic, it's a fun way to move positionally back and forth. And the last habit that I see them use a lot in their lead playing, and this is the most shreddy of all the techniques, and this is more legato pull-off stuff, but using it in a repetitive pattern. In my example here, I did this. That type of thing where you're doing a bit of a cross-picking pattern. Here it was, again, I'm in G pentatonic minor, so it's just the idea of that there, the pentatonic, the top of the pentatonic scale, and then extending it a whole step. And instead of just playing single, to mix it up and get more legato with it by doubling the pull-offs. When you do that at the tempo we did in the song there, it can make for a very cool, shreddy type of sounding thing without all the staccato-ness that you get from picking every note. Another way I may incorporate that extra legato double tap kind of thing might even be with two-handed Eddie Van Halen style tapping. Say I take a part where I'm building up in G major here, resolving up to the G, I might add a double tap every couple of notes in here and get something that sounds a little bit more complex. So that's just one idea you can use as far as expounding on the idea of adding more legato technique into what you're playing. And again, like with the other stuff, it's a widely applicable technique that you can use in all different parts of your scales. So you just kind of want to put it in your head to think about how you might be able to add a couple extra pull-offs into riffs that you would normally do to give it that legato shreddy feel. And so as much as we talked about individual techniques here, I hope that your main takeaway from this is more about the compositional elements. And if you listen to Maiden, if you weren't already a fan and you start checking them out because of this video maybe, that you think about how they put pieces of songs together, or how they use the lead guitar as a tool to connect parts of songs and as a tool to be as interesting as a vocal part, and again, write themes with it. That would be the number one thing I would take away out of all these 5 habits from Iron Maiden. As always, guys, if you have any questions or comments, further ideas that you want to share, please leave them below. I get back to everyone as soon as I can. And until next time, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.